Welcome to the Check20 podcast.
Thank you.
Today, as always, I am Mr. Shreckles. I am the lead designer of Check20. We also have Aaron, lead engineer. Say hi, Aaron.
Hello.
I didn't like that. We also have the lead boy, Builder. Say hi, Builder.
I'm just happy to be here. Already dead.
Dude, dead meme. Today, we are going to be talking about weapons. I should probably talk about armor, too, if we're talking about weapons, but we'll see how far we get in our ramble about weapons.
Weapons and weapon accessories.
Yeah, weapons and weapon-like accessories. Weapons in Check20 are still evolving. I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I want them to land. In fact, I tried to record an episode of this podcast already and then changed everything. That was more of a visual overhaul than it was the actual numbers. But I do have like a ramble, a conversation I'd like to get into with you guys at the end on how weapons could change or if they should change. I tried to make all of the melee weapons 1d6. And then the larger, like the great weapons of melee weapons are 3d6. Hopefully you're noticing a theme of just d6s. And then finally we have the heavy weapons, which are just 10 damage. That also is a recent change.
So
I like the consistency of it. Yeah.
So before a lot of the heavier weapons, the damage was equal to a specific check, and you pulled away from that.
So yeah, the reason for that was setting it as check confused some people. Some people would roll their check and then be like, all right, so that whatever I rolled is the damage. And I would rather just nip that conversation. And then it's less clean. It's less uniform. I think uniformity I'm a big fan of. In fact, as I look at the list here, for some reason I made a fang dagger that does... Oh, because it's like a serpent's fang. That's why it's a +2. That's pretty cool. All right, I'll keep it. Once I remind myself of why I did it. So the goal for each weapon isn't to make all of them feel unique, actually. I want it to be that you understand in general what every weapon or something you pick up and something in the environment, if you just grab something, you should know what it's about damage-wise. If it's a light weapon or not. That's really easy to make up when everything's about a d6. And those are kind of locked in like that. That does not translate over to the weapon categories, however. So melee weapons are all 1d6. Firearms are exploding damage, a number of d4s instead of d6s. That is a much swingier amount of damage. And as you guys have experienced, can be a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Do you think that firearms are too powerful? Are they too dangerous?
Yes, there needs to be more firearm regulation.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, in a way.
No, I don't.
I
That's
think
a
looking at the list, I could reduce them all by a d4, but that cuts the chance of explosion and that cuts the overall damage. Brings them closer to melee weapons, but should they be equivalent to melee weapons? Should they be doing the same damage? Probably not, right?
Yeah, I think the risk and reward definitely makes the higher damage more worth it.
Well, what is the only risk is that you just don't roll well, right?
Well, so the other thing about it is I need to introduce it more. I need to make it more of a thing. And once we start building encounters, building campaigns and stuff, which we haven't really done yet, that's when we're really going to see the difference. Because the main difference should be between a firearm and a sword is when you walk into town and how people act around you.
Mm.
So if you have a big sniper rifle that can kill a dragon on your back at level 1, people are going to be like, you're going to need to check that. That's not allowed in this bar or tavern or clothing shop. A town sword is something that a lot of people have. Kids will walk around with town swords. You know, you got to defend yourself from rats of extraordinary size. So, yeah, kids have weapon training. I don't think they have firearm training. I think that's the thing. Because in the lore of the world, firearms are only about a decade old. They've been illegal that whole time, but the Empire had them because they like, oh well, if we have all the weapon, if we have the powerful weapon, and then regulations and people fighting against the Empire and everybody thinking the Empire's the bad guy, stuff like that.
They're just looking out for you.
There's also that if you botch a roll on a gun, the gun will jam, right? That's
Yeah,
something.
that is, it's either a player can choose to have that happen or the narrator can impose that, but it is an option. I think it's an optional rule. I call it a optional rule. I don't think I have. Yeah, I don't have a reload or a jamming property. I guess it would be a condition, but condition specific to a weapon. I don't think I have a list for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like prone is one of those where it's like tough to put it on the condition list. Because it's like I didn't put difficult terrain on the condition list. Like you don't click that on and off when you walk through difficult terrain, you know. So
Yeah.
putting prone on there is almost a little weird, but it's the best place to explain that. So weapon categories feel different, and I'm fine with that. As much as I debate with myself masterfully whether they should feel different. I think, or whether they should feel the same or different. I think they should be different. Guns should feel dangerous. Swords should be useful. They shouldn't do the same amount of damage. But the thing that I chew over in my mind a lot is how long would it take you to defeat a car with a knife, right? Because a dagger does a d4 damage if a vehicle just has 100 HP. How long to defeat a vehicle? What's funny is realistically, if you stab a car in the tire, it's gonna do a bit of damage if you know where to hit it.
Depends on where you stab.
Yeah, called shot.
Yeah, if you get in through the trunk or anything, if you find internals, you're gonna do damage. But I don't think meta wise, I don't think it's representing that, is it?
Generally, yeah, dagger's gonna do less damage to a car, and that's actually a good way of thinking about it because a gun is gonna do a lot of damage a lot faster.
But it's also like consistency, and if you choose to track ammo or not, you know, there's some other factors there. I recently haven't been tracking ammo because it's not something fun for me. I think that's a player facing fun if some people like tracking those things, or if it's a survival campaign. But those things need to be talked about beforehand or something like that.
Discuss with your local narrator.
Discuss with your local narrator whether tracking ammo is for you.
Side effects may include low ammo.
Yeah, I like firearms at D4s because it is the lowest base possible damage. But technically, in theory, firearm could be infinite damage. It could be unlimited damage if you keep getting 4s, right? So that's something to think about. Makes them unpredictable that way. Yeah, because like looking at an assault rifle that I got here, right? So an assault rifle is 3d4. So at the absolute lowest end, you're doing 3 damage with an assault rifle.
Yeah.
At the highest end, you have 12. The highest end without exploding It is 12, right? 3, no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
3, 6, no,
It's
it'd be
12.
9. The highest without exploding is 9.
No, you're doing threes. It's
No, because if it's a 4, it explodes. So the highest
Oh, I
without
see what you
exploding,
mean. Okay.
3, 6, 9.
I
Damn you
see.
fun.
Okay.
Go ahead and sock it to me one more time. A light weapon, so like a long sword or a battle axe or whatever, is a d6, single d6. But if you think about per round damage, a character can do action to attack and then off action to attack. So technically per round you can do 2d6 damage with a standard weapon. I want heavy weapons to feel heavy. And you guys weren't picking them, so I just quietly kept adding damage to them until one day you guys might. That's essentially it.
Like we can
I
have a
do
gun though.
notice, yeah, there's that. I also do notice that if given the chance of sword and shield versus big ass sword, most people will choose sword and shield because it gives them a little bit more armor. I feel like armor optimization, a lot of people did it in 5e where it's like, my whole build is you can't touch me. And it's a
Yeah.
fair build. It's a fair build. I think it just hits different. Or I personally feel like it hits different in Check20 because it's just another health pool. It's just more health. In a low numbers game though, it is quite comfortable to have though. Initially, there was like a big update where I didn't even have names for most of the stuff. I just had standard weapon, which did a 1d6, and I gave a description of what that could mean.
I kind of liked that, to be honest.
You were the one that said to do this.
I
You like whatever's in front of you. I feel like you're like, I
No,
like
I liked being able to just do whatever damage this is and flavor the weapon whatever way I want.
which you still can do. This just
Yeah,
gives
there's
you
nothing there's
more
nothing
more of a
stopping you.
base. It says more of a base value where you can
It
adjust it. You can feel more confident adjusting it when you're like,
yeah.
oh, all these weapons are the same thing. Oh, that means I can do whatever I want, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. And the what I meant was is like I like having something to go off of because I can't think of every weapon in my head and then pick the one I like. And it's like, oh, I never would have thought to pick a fucking deck blade, you know?
Sucks to be you. I can do that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody is going to find a list of weapons, memorize them, and then when they build a character, know what they want.
Yeah.
These definitely are how to build, in my opinion, how to build a weapon. Because it's like, oh, I'll do a mace, or should I do a maul? I guess maul's a little cheaper just because lore. Guess it does.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Morningstar. Oh, it's also the same thing. At the end of the day, the important aspect is actually not what the damage is. It's what damage type is, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I'll go over the damage tables because each damage type, when you get a 20, 25, 30, so on and so forth, when you get additional successes above 15, you start running into these damage tables in combat specifically. You can get other stuff in other areas of the game. Impact damage is the condition creator, where you're doing like damage with a maul, a Morningstar, whatever, broken, concussion. It is my favorite for the story.
Yeah.
When it's almost scary to send even a goblin with a club at a player because it's like, all right, I'm really sorry I'm about to do this, but broken, concussion,
Yeah.
dislocation, knock back 10 feet, you fall off a cliff.
You kind of solved a stigma against bludgeoning damage because I feel like a lot of people in 5th edition avoided bludgeoning because it was kind of boring. And you turned it like probably one of best the best damage types in your system. I personally like
Or
piercing just because I like doing damage, but
yeah, piercing is the damage dealer's damage type.
yeah,
And then slashing is a little bit
but
of both.
mhm,
I really like slashing is like I am a duelist.
yeah,
I would take slashing if I'm a duelist because of the fifth value here is disarm. So just knock a weapon out of somebody's hand, or six, take a stance, which is huge as just an additional
mhm.
thing to have happen. And then also, I want to mention, since we're on the damage tables over here, when you already have applied a condition, or the creature already has a condition, or is immune to that condition, do +1 damage instead. So there's no empty
That's
feeling of,
huge. Yeah.
oh, already broke. Oh, they're already broken. Okay, well,
Mhm.
I'll just try harder to roll a 6 next time.
Yeah. I did. Yeah. I wanted, if you're going to present a list of weapons to your players, they're gonna pick from the list of weapons, unless you make it obvious during character creation that these are just suggestions and ideas, and you can, if you know,
So
Ask
I
your GM
make
what's
currently
right for you.
have, yeah, pick what's right for you. I
pick what's right
currently
for you.
have it
Yeah.
that when you make a character, you're just given a loadout. I think for someone that hasn't played the game before, that's just gonna, they're like, oh, sweet, I'm done with character creation. Do I have oh, I have a weapon and everything. Cool. That was
Hmm.
the idea behind it.
Yeah, of
And
course.
then someone on their third, fourth character, or us, or 100th character or something like that. Uh, uh, I'm really tired of this. I know I can call it whatever. Hey, narrator, I can call this whatever, right? Can I? I have this idea for a giant spoon wielding Kobari. Can I do that? Yeah, dude, go for it. You guys have both made a bunch of characters. Do you prefer melee or ranged? I think I already know the answer, but
Oh yeah, what do you think mine is?
it said dude with a sniper rifle, past two builds.
Or unless I'm playing a tank, I think I am a coward and prefer to shoot at things.
Even when you're playing a tank, a little bit.
Hey, I've been playing my tank very tanky this game. I'll have you
Pretty
Have
sure.
know.
it?
Correct me if I'm wrong. We're setting up to do a ship heist, and you said I'll go with the stealth team, not the assault team.
Well, hey, at least I'm still punching stuff.
All right, fair enough. I can't argue with that.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things I hated the most about being a Magic user in 5th edition was their weapon choice. Yeah, I know you're supposed to be doing magic, and then if you're out of spell slots, focus on your cantrips. But every once in a while, you get to a point where you're just hitting them with a fucking quarterstaff, and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
in 5e, if you're a sorcerer, you're the cantrip master. You always have an
mhm,
option. Um, if you are a wizard, all your cool stuff is behind spell slots, and you
yeah.
definitely run out. And then Warlock is Eldritch Blast, just only doing
Yep.
Eldritch
Yeah,
Blast.
just Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast, Eldritch
Um,
Blast.
but yeah, I mean, it's it's not like Check20 is ridiculously different than that. This does have that option where you could go to a store and have like a little arcane staff or something like that. Be like, can I
Mhm,
purchase this? Yeah, there you go. If you have access to spells, weapons really aren't the same thing. Like they are
mhm.
an accessory to you. With the exception of like a gun, because a gun still is a gun. Should a mage be able to summon a gun or summon a firearm? Currently, I don't really have that as a spell.
I feel like the only reason why that would be different than just doing some sort of blast type spell is the exploding damage.
What's that? But if you think about like lore wise what's happening. They're not summoning just a blade or a hammer or
Yeah.
a club. You are constructing something. You are also constructing ammunition that explodes. So it's like, what are you actually making, kind of thing. I can make it. I can get there with like a turret or something like that, because you don't actually have to create a reloading weaponry sort of thing. You're just doing like a magical blast. But
Yeah.
a firearm, a working firearm, is very different than something that looks like a firearm. And I guess it
Well,
could. Why am I not calling it that?
tech mages can summon turrets. How is that different?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The turret
Yeah.
looks like a turret, but it's firing just a magical
Yeah.
blast.
Okay,
Um,
so think about it like this. Is it like a Green Lantern where it just looks like a gun,
no.
acts like a gun, isn't actually a gun? Or is it more like a gunsmith, but like, sped up actually building a gun? Yeah.
I think what I'm trying to
Is it
do is sort of controlling narrator thing, where I'm like, well, no, I don't. You can't make a gun. You can't just have a gun. You have to
yeah.
you have to like buy it or whatever. That doesn't need to be true. Like, I think a mage should be able to, like, if I'm gonna be honest with myself, yeah, a mage should probably be able to make a gun. If they can summon,
Yeah.
tank or whatever,
I
why wouldn't
think
they
they
be able to?
should, but it should be at such a high level cost that's not really worth it compared to other spells.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say is like it's on like like a time limit, like the Rakari that have that
Yeah,
daily like
once a day little
gadget,
trinket.
once a day
Yeah.
trinket, and it just like falls apart after 24 hours, something like that. Yeah, one time use a gun, but you can only use it like once or twice.
I think a check 20 spell would be, so I think a manifest weapon would probably be something similar, where level 1 you manifest a simple melee weapon, 2 would be a simple ranged weapon, 3 would be a complex firearm. So 1, 3, 6.
Yeah.
So with that, the firearm is locked behind a 6. The whole reason we have it built the way it is because everything's a D6 and you don't have to guess when you pick something up.
Yeah.
Narrator doesn't have to do a lot of heavy lifting. I remember so many times in 5e being like, "Oh yeah, you got this you know what? A morning star. Like, what does that do?" I guess I got to look it up. Oh, it's a D6. Or a D8 if you're using it two-handed. But and then like some people will just read the D8 and just use that and be like,
Mhm.
"Hey, wait, I noticed you're using a shield and you're using 1D8. Why is that?" And, what do you mean? It says 1D8. So less information is always more.
Yes.
When you go on here and you see battle axe, it just says D6. Doesn't say a bunch of weird shit, with the exception of the light property. I think I think if anything, firearms could be reduced by a D4,
Yeah.
all around, with the exception of the ones that are already at a D4.
Mhm.
It's still exploding, so there's still a potential for infinite damage. Actually, structure. We didn't talk about, if you have a dagger, how long should a dagger take to get through a building? You know what I mean? That's the problem I run into. So one thing that some systems have done is using damage thresholds. But I'm
Yeah.
trying my best not to layer mechanics, to keep everything about the same, because I want to be able to give a building or a vehicle or a creature a power level, a PL, sets their HP, sets all the information you need to know about it, and then just go forward. If I start adding thresholds and things like that, then it's, I don't know. I feel like it's dicey.
For more random stuff like that, though, like why not just leave it up to the narrator's discretion? Like it's not very often that a
Sure.
player is going to be shanking a building.
I guess I'm trying to decide the base system and how the game works at core. However, people run the game afterwards is not on me, but I need them to have a solid understanding, a solid basics, so they can break the game themselves in a way that's fun and
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they're doing damage to a building, then they're trying to accomplish something very specific.
Yeah,
So maybe that should be left to more of a role play thing than a
more
mechanical
of
thing.
per encounter. That's not
Yeah.
like something that
Yeah.
needs to be worried about in the moment. Yeah, I do the same thing with vehicles. I've thought so much about vehicles, like, oh, how am I going to introduce those? What does it mean to be a vehicle? Who what's the motivation of a vehicle? Like all that kind of stuff. I was like, maybe that
I think
doesn't
you're
matter.
thinking too
Maybe
hard.
yeah. Maybe
But
it's just that it's a handout. It's a piece of paper that says this is a vehicle. And we all get
I,
in, get out of here. Get
I'm
ahead.
a huge fan of vehicle combat in general, whether it
Wait,
be in a TTRPG or in a video game or anything. I like vehicle combat.
I haven't done a
Um,
lot of it for Check20, and I think that's
yeah,
why I'm like so in my head about it. Like, how does it look?
yeah. And a lot of systems handle like vehicle combat is like a completely different game. And it doesn't
Doesn't need to be.
necessarily need to be. I do see the merit of when you're in when you're in non-vehicle combat, it's a grid, right? But in vehicle combat, a lot of systems will switch to a hex grid.
You know,
Um, and I can see the merit in that.
I think they both work.
But yeah, but they both absolutely the both can work. Um, and yeah, but it doesn't necessarily need to be much different th- than non vehicle
Yeah.
combat,
So yeah,
just with larger numbers, maybe.
you're going through city streets late at night, maybe a mild amount of rain, two cars going side by side. You don't need to know the stats of the car if you shoot the other guy in the head, if you
Mhm.
jump over and start attacking them from the inside, if you shoot the tires, you just need to know what is going on with the tires. I don't think I need to describe every system in a vehicle. I think I could do something along the lines of like, hey, when you're running this, just treat it like a normal combat. Because like everybody should have a turn, like enemy turn. Everybody in that car gets a turn. Everybody go. Okay, everybody in this car gets a turn. Go.
Yeah, and you can easily do it that way. I think what stands vehicle combat out from normal combat is maneuvers. I feel like maneuvers, and you could say we don't need maneuvers in the game, but I feel like that's how you can make combat or vehicle combat feel different and fun. Is the vehicles come with specific maneuvers, and that is their features. That is the
Yeah.
features.
I think lean if I lean that way, that's a different theme. Something like we've played in a sci-fi theme.
Hmm.
I think that would lend itself. Or if somebody did like a homebrew Wreckfest sort of, death race variant of Check20, that would warrant like that sort of stuff. But we're just trying to tell a noir story or an adventure story.
Hmm.
I don't think getting super nitty gritty with complicated vehicle systems is what I want for Armored Noir,
Yeah,
for the Armored Noir theme of Check20.
that's
Yeah, if you
fair.
want that, go to Pathfinder.
Not even Pathfinder. Well, Pathfinder probably has some crazy rules.
Huh.
I would say if I was or when and if I write some like structure combat, whatever that might be, siege combat or something like that. Buildings have a PL of fucking 20. They have a ridiculous amount of health or something like that. Or they just start out with 100 extra. Buildings have 100 extra
The
armor.
Yeah, the easiest way to go about it is to just give them a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yep.
And then if somebody is like doing something very specific, then you can get into the role play aspect of it. Like I'm crawling under the I'm going under this house, going under the crawl space and placing bombs on all of the foundational things. Yeah, then
Then
okay, yeah.
even
Then you're
that I don't even need to know the amount of damage you're doing. We're
yeah,
just
you
we're
cool.
skipping to the next step. The building is down now. We don't
Mhm.
need to do well. Okay, so each bomb is going to be doing 38 d38,
Yeah.
and then so the structure, the frame of the house has this HP. The
German
however the
style
out
architecture.
German style is Swiss architecture, and that makes a difference. No, let's not do all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
And I
Okay.
do like what you said, going back to the vehicles is just play it like normal. The only thing is you kind of have to act like the ground is constantly moving if the vehicles are in movement. So if you touch the ground, then you're out of the combat.
That's the other thing with playing online. It's really
Yeah.
tough to do vehicle combat and stuff. It's so finicky and tedious to move everybody, move the car, and then move everybody, or like move
You,
everybody as a group, ungroup to do
you
all
don't
kinds
have
of stuff
to.
like that.
You don't have to. I played the Fast and Furious board game.
As you do.
Of as you do. And the way it works is the ground is constantly moving, but it looks still, right?
Yeah.
So,
In Roll20, you can
yeah,
get like a video to play as the background, and I've
yeah, you
seen
could do
people
something
do
like that,
stuff like that.
but you don't have to.
Yeah,
You could do it theater of the mind too, and you
sure.
just act accordingly. If you try to jump to the next car and you miss and you fall on the ground, you
Yeah.
act accordingly.
I
You're
mean, we did that.
basically out of the combat. You get knocked
We did
out or
that
something, and
with the airship. We did
yeah.
that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have to constantly be moving the things. You could do a static image and then do it that way. Yeah.
Switching weapons. Do you guys know the rule for switching weapons? Did you remember it before,
It's
either looking at it now or whatever?
I believe it's faster to switch to your sidearm than to reload your main.
It's in Check20 though.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Why would I know that?
So you're one of the developers. Can't have you act this way, man. Get your head on right. So in Check20, I initially had it as switching weapons is like free action or something. I didn't want to care about it.
Yeah.
But someone could also rock like a gigantic sword, and then after they attack with it, switch to sword and shield to, you know, have an off action attack. I don't like that. And then the biggest thing is, yeah, like having a shield increases your armor by,
Mhm.
so let's say like a standard shield is 6 armor. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's like the
That's a
highest
good
damage
amount.
on a, yeah, like
Yeah.
it's significant. So like to have a shield on your back and just say, oh yeah, I have a shield, so it's cool, we count it, right, we're good. You know, it's
That is something that we have argued about is, does a shield count if it's on your back?
in a system like this
Yeah.
where it's just layers of HP, uh it kind of does, right? It is
Yeah.
adding to your amount of damage you can take.
Mhm.
But one thing we did do was there's a block action if you have if you have armor
Oh yeah.
from a shield, you can block with it. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. I just try to keep things simple. I don't like AC. I don't think I ever liked AC.
I never did either.
It didn't hit right.
You know who did? Gary Gygax.
Thanks, Builder. Now I'm glad you're here.
I did want to say something about switching weapons though.
Yeah, please.
I
I changed
like
it to an off action. I'm thinking it should be an off action.
Yeah, and I like that. I like the idea of adding a mechanic to switching weapons because that implies that there is someone that is good at it, you know? That implies that is that
Yeah.
implies that there's a class out there that has a shit ton of weapons and he's constantly switching weapons because it's
Yeah.
easier than to fight that way for them, and that feels like a really fun character. Like you ever see the people in like pirate shows where they have a shit ton of flintlocks on them?
Yeah.
They're sick.
There's
That's awesome.
that Afro Samurai, the guy with the #1 headband was this like gunslinger,
Yeah.
and he had a hidden spoiler. He had a hidden third arm that he would just pull out and
Yeah.
shoot people with.
Yeah,
That's why
and
he.
the same thing can be done with daggers, that you've seen people with just like they're just littered with daggers and they're constantly
Yeah.
doing dagger
Yeah.
stuff. And yeah, so adding a mechanic to switching weapons implies that those type of classes exist and those type
Yeah.
of classes are cool. So
And we can add to that sort of narrative, that fun sort of
mhm.
character there. I guess I will say armor is armor. I don't think we need to have an episode on it. It does armor stuff.
Yeah.
There's a penalty for that, and yeah, does that. And then items, food, bracelet, even some minor stuff.
Was
I
that a
don't know if you
pen
guys.
gun?
Yeah, yeah, we have a pen
Awesome.
gun. Love it when we do stuff like this, and then you guys find out about items that exist in the game.
Yeah.
How come you never told me about that? I'm like, it's not my job for you to look through.
I immediately think of a 007 pen gun.
This whole podcast just a pretense for you to show us
This
more of the
is
system.
this is honestly just me trying to tell you guys to play the game better.
Uh,
So closing remarks, yeah, weapons. I think I'll make a couple little mods to them, but
Mhm.
they're pretty close.
Yeah, they
Um,
are.
I really feel like I wanted to make something clean and modular, and I don't think I personally haven't had any issue developing weapons on the fly during the game. I don't have to.
Mhm.
Anytime I have a monster, I don't have to be like, oh, what do they have, or oh fuck, I have to figure out what they do or anything like that. It's they have a sword, they have a big mannequin leg, like it's all a D6. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it big? Add a couple D6 to it, call it a day.
The few times that I've created monsters slash NPCs for players to fight, I just went simple with the weapons just to make it easy. And then where they are unique is their one or two
Yeah,
features that
features.
they may
Yeah,
have. Yeah.
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 Definitely need a monster episode one of these days for sure. All right. Thank you guys for recording an episode with me. I hope you had a good time. Bye.